Yeah, yeah.
Sir, so till now, you have done like you just asked for one assignment, right?
There are two. Second one is tomorrow due.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, got it.
So the thing is that we have to complete. See, there are two MCQs. Third MCQ will be on next Tuesday. That you please give it. Don't miss it. The reason is very simple because we cannot change the because Microsoft software is such that no alterations can take place. So you have to see that MCQs, you please give it and assignments. I given you sufficient time, and why was obviously that we will be starting immediately after that. So all this agenda schedule that you have to adhere to this schedule, and please don't miss anything. I am requesting again and again because if students miss MCQs, I am telling you in advance all these things. Next Tuesday we'll be having. After that also we'll be having the last one. So don't miss any of the schedules because this is we have to comply with the college guidelines, university guidelines. I also have got no option. uh, I have to take and complete this because you must understand that this is a two credit course. So we cannot extend because they will not give permission like that, college. So please cooperate with me to complete all these evaluations in time. I know all 99% they are cooperating. But the thing is that if one of them is left out, then it becomes a big problem because we cannot change the software and everything, alterations and everything. It is not allowed in Microsoft. Anyway, uh, now today, anybody has got any questions regarding EDI? Yes, Tanmay, Aman, Wilfred, because I have uploaded some slides which I have myself prepared. I have myself prepared all these slides. There are some good material which I found it in books also. So that I have uploaded. So you can very well trust the quality of that material which is uploaded. They are very good and in MCQs, sorry, not the MCQs but the Vivas, they will be very useful to you. So today we will be going and studying them further. Now, last time I told you, can somebody tell me? Yes, Tanmay, I think you can start now. You can tell me any one benefit of EDI. Yes, Tanmay.
So of what?
Any one benefit of EDI.
Benefit of EDI.
Any one benefit. There are so many benefits. Tanmay.
So what are you talking about? Electronic data interchange?
Yeah, yeah,
EDI?
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so you can communicate a lot with the devices like the same kind of data or the if you are accessing the same application through many devices maybe because nowadays people have a smartphone, a laptop, a smartwatch or anything. So if that is there, then that particular data can be shared, and that can be one benefit that you can get that wherever you are wanting to maybe. Or so you can also say that it can be available on the web or widely. It's available on the web itself, but yeah, application and the web, that's a thing. Another is you can get the access to the maybe bills, the bills which you are wanting to, like if I
Okay.
place a order on Amazon or anything anywhere, So if I'm wanting that particular invoice, okay, so I can get that. Or suppose I book a flight on goivivo.com and and I want to get the invoice of the flight which I got it from 1 year back. So I can get that even at any point of time. So as it is stored in their database. Another is the payment documents or the shipping details on Amazon. That's what is coming into my mind right now, sir. Nothing else.
Very good. I think all of you may have listened to Tanmay. I think he has gone through the material and you see some of the benefits that he said. And I think
Sir,
anyone
was
wants,
I correct?
yeah, there was some one or two benefits that I will elaborate. Yes, Avi, can you add to what Tanmay also said? Because he mentioned about invoices. Tanmay just now mentioned about invoices, even documents, air tickets, he mentioned quite a lot. Avi, do you agree with all these things or you want to add anything? Yes, Avi. Anyone wants to add anything to what Tanmay said? Nikhil, Deepa Kumari, anyone can add. Yes, Deepa Kumari, do you want to add anything? Yes, Ritika Deshpande, anything you want to add? Because he has told about invoices, which is absolutely correct. I fully agree with him. I told last time also, which I think Tanmay remembers it, that invoices, the bills, documents, there is, you can transfer this document if you have that ID of that another company, user ID, you can transfer it with ease. So the formatting only you have to do it correctly and the document can be easily transferred within seconds. Now you see that basically the past data also can be, that can be made available. Past data also, because storage and everything. So basically, EDI is meant for transfer of documents, bills, important documents which you have in the company. So this is the purpose. Now, why we want faster delivery? The reason is this, that quick transfer results into more efficiency. The other party will come to know about your offers, the bills, all these things they will come to know uh, very easily and at the right time also. They can take decisions also. So this improves efficiency. So today I am going to show you, because there are so many other slides which I have prepared, which in Vivas, because I'll be asking questions, we'll be starting Vivas very shortly. Now that is the reason I wanted to see that whatever slides I have put in the teams, anyone, do they go through it or not? Uh, so let us see if any other, benefit. Yes, Devansh, Devansh, can you tell me any of the benefit which India has apart from what Tanmay said? Yes, Devansh, Devansh, Devraj, anyone, any addition? Yes, Kanishk, Kanishk is there. Vaibhav, okay. Now I am going to the slides. Anyway, you can go through this material which I uploaded and see that you are well versed, because some of these questions may be coming in your Vivas also and in MCQs also. Now I'm going to the share content. Now let's see. Yeah, this one. Now the benefits I'll just go because I brush up the benefits first. Now I'll just go through it so that I think it will be just like a refresher. Now EDI basically it has been used in 1960s. So there are still many organizations that use their existing legacy systems for processing B2B transactions. Now traditional B2B transactions like purchase orders, sales orders, invoice, as Tanmay rightly said, invoice. Tanmay, can you see this, the screen from that side?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Yeah, this is
It's
what
visible.
Tanmay mentioned just now. He talked about the purchase invoices and everything. He rightly said that basically these transactions are there on regular basis between different companies. And these B2B transactions has to be expedited, it should be fast. So why it should be fast? Because previously, if you go in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, now you can very well see during that period of time, all we used to have paperwork, which you remember very well. Now this paperwork, it took a lot of time. I mentioned last time also that you had to go to the post office with the envelope, you had to fix up those stamps, you had to stand in a queue. You see, all this took a lot of time, and by the time you are sending the purchase order and invoice order to a country like Germany or Austria, it took 15 days, 20 days also. So you see, the process is very slow. But here we are seeing that the process in EDI is very fast. Now, why it is fast? Because this is done electronically. Now, it is all so super fast that if you have right formatting and everything done, nobody can stop you. And processing these transactions involve many paper documents and a great deal of human intervention, which makes them prone to mistakes and human errors. So previously, I remember because I also worked in one of the companies. At that time, all paperwork was there and human intervention. Lot of people they are working. Believe me, the process was not easy because the thing is that it has to be authenticated, confirmed, and you see with the hands if you do it, mistakes are also bound to be there, human errors. Somebody was on leave, that file was missing, it was not found. There are a lot of things or gaps which were there. So in a way, these invoices or it took a lot of time for the company to send this particular, and apart from this, you see the cost. How many people they were employed in accounts department or invoice department, whichever you call. Apart from costing, now all these things it requires time, and you know time is money. So you are also putting a lot of time. I am not saying it is a waste of time, but the thing is that during the good old days, even in India's also, in 1990s over there or 1980s, things are totally different at that point of time. So the thing is that here, but with the use of ADR, paper documents are eliminated and human intervention is minimized. Now, we don't want human intervention. Why? Because the reason is this, that more and more time is consumed. Now, in today's world, we want efficiency. We want more and more efficiency. Why we want efficiency? Because we want competitiveness. If the documents reach, if the invoices reach the other party within the shortest possible time, say electronically, you see that that party can take the decisions at the earliest. I also told you last time that EDI is also used not only in companies. in corporate hospitals also. You see the multiple uses of EDI. I have seen in hospitals also there. Now you will ask what is there. There also invoices are there that we have to submit to government or any other this thing hospitals. So EDI, you should not take it that it is used only in companies. In hospitals also, they have started realizing the importance of EDI. In government organizations also, they are also thinking of implementing EDI. So it is a multi-purpose use of EDI. So EDI enables organizations to automate the exchange of data between applications across the supply chain. Now, supplier also sends you certain documents, but there also the documents are exchanged. The documents are also exchanged between the customer and the company also. In the supply chain, you must understand the process starts from the supplier. That means the supplier will give you the details of the inventory, the raw materials and everything, the cost and everything. And this basically the supplier will give, the company receives it, the company gives them the order. Now all this is done electronically. So it is in a matter of seconds or minutes, the decisions are taken. You see the speed at which the organization is working. So here we have to understand that we want in today, in this electronic age, speed is very important. Now every company wants to stay ahead in the race. Every company wants to be competitive. And technology has its own advantages. If you employ technology, within a matter of seconds, the documents will reach the next company. Of course, the formatting and everything has to be done. So here the thing is that the documents are reached and suitable decisions are taken at the right end. And at that time, sometimes you have also to see that critical data is also to be set, which cannot be left to the persons who are juniors, that is down the line. So in a way, some confidential things can also be shared, especially the business related data with that another company. That can also be done. And this cannot be shared even in your company. I'll just give an example so that it will be very clear. In L&T, I have seen in Bajaj Auto also is there. It is implemented in Bharat Forge also in these big companies. It is already there. I am telling you this EDI. This is nothing new. Then I am telling you because there are a lot of employees who are working in the company, in L&T, Bajaj, or even in Infosys also. Now these big companies, the technological giants or manufacturing giants you may call, now they want to see that every process is expedited. It should be fast. The rolling should be fast. So here there are certain data which are very critical to the organization. We call that as a confidential data. So this data has to be sent to say some third company that it cannot be disclosed to anyone in the organizations except the top management people. So many a times I am telling you in big organizations, they take care because previously what has happened, if you go in the past, all these things were shared with some junior people and sometimes there was a misuse of this data and they used to even misuse it and there was every likelihood that the data, the critical data, the important data was shared among a number of other people who are outside the company also. So you see the vulnerability of this. So confidentiality, in short, it was not maintained. So EDI basically, you can very well see, if you are working in an organization, I know many of you will be working even this year also. And at that time, you are the only one who will know. Since you are sending that particular information, you will only know the details of what is sent, and no other person will know it. So, what are the benefits of EDI? EDI has a low operating cost. See, basically, the paperwork is reduced, number one. Number two, operating cost means 35, eliminating cost of paper, printing also is gone. Reproduction, storage, filing. See, because storage also consumes lot of space, and paper has to be kept for years together as a record, so that you can avoid. Then again, this filing work and everything which we used to do before, that can also, because the correct sequence and everything has to be maintained when you are filing the paper documents, that can be avoided. So you can see the time is also saved. Postage, you have to send someone to the post office. You see the long queues. Maybe that person is going over there. He goes in the morning, he comes in the afternoon. 2, 3 hours are gone. And all these things, don't you think that basically operating cost becomes very low? You don't have to employ 10, 15 people, like I gave you the example of L&T and everything. You don't have to employ so many people. 1% is sufficient. So like that, you can reduce the operating cost, means the salary cost, the overhead cost. All these things can be avoided apart from confidentiality. Confidentiality, because it is very confidential, documents are there, which you feel that nobody should know except the management. Then it reduces administrative resource. The word resource, I told you last time also, it includes land, it includes labor, it requires even in this capital also, and a resource also, it means knowledge also. So it reduces so much capital which you are putting over there, which we used to do in 1980s or 60s or 70s, whatever that period was there. Now, basically, you don't have to go into and spend so much time over there. Especially, I'm talking about the human factor. Then administrative work, again, it has to be signed by some other top lines. So all these things can be reduced. You see the time element. You see the cost element. In many of the companies, the big companies, they require speed to go ahead. Even the small companies also. The second one, improve the business cycle speeds. Now, in order to process, timing is very important. EDI speeds up business cycles by 61%. You see, because it allows for process automation that reduces time delays associated with manual processing that requires you to enter file and compare data. The inventory management is streamlining and made more efficient with real-time data updates. So here the thing is that even inventory management, basically when you require, say inventory means stock, you require money, okay? So you can place an order with the supplier. The supplier will send you the quotations and everything electronically. Everything is electronically. Now all this real-time data, you can access it. You can give the order immediately. You see how the speed is also maintained. So it speeds up everything. Decisions can be taken fast. So this is what we intend today. Then we have reduces human error and improve the record accuracy. Now here we are talking about accuracy. Manual processes are highly prone to error. If if there is some person who is working, he may definitely make some mistakes. Again, it has to be corrected. It has to be corrected by someone who is working up the line, or we call that as a superior person. So the time is also gone. So he also verifies in his computer, and then he gives his consent for the same. So it results, if it is so much time which is spent over there, it results into inefficiency, and sometimes the handwriting is also illegible. You cannot even read the handwriting also. It consumes time. You have to call that person again. Then keying errors and incorrect document handling. Sometimes the document is also not filed, in that file it is not located. You see, so much time is gone over there. So EDI improves data quality because the data quality, you can have updated data over there. You don't have to search the files and everything, and eliminates the need to rework orders by delivering at least a 30 to 40% reduction in transactions with errors. Previously, there were a lot of errors when in a transaction between the supplier and the company, or from company to company, whichever you call it, because human beings they're involved. We want to reduce the human element in this regard. So that is human error, and accuracy is also maintained because we need accurate. Just hold on. I'm going to the next slide. Yes, business efficiency. Now we come to the business efficiency. Uh, since human error is minimized, organizations can benefit from increased level of efficiency. Now everybody wants profits, everybody wants money. Quite sure. But unless the efficiency is increased, you cannot go in that regard, because when we talk about efficiency, we also talk about money. We also talk about profitability. We also talk about output. So here we are talking about more output, because the more the output, the more the money you will be getting. Sales are more. Since human error is minimized, organizations can benefit from increased level of efficiency rather than focusing on manual and tedious activities. Employees can devote their time, attention to more important value added tasks. That means very important customer related tasks which are there, customer focused. You can spend more time at attending to the customer's requirements, talking about the customers, and see that how best we can give him some value added services over there. That should be the focus of the company, rather than doing the same work again and again, resulting into lesser speed. And sometimes the whatever we do work is there, it may not be accurate also. So EDI can also improve an organization customer and trading partner relationship, because relations they also increase because of confidentiality. The documents which you are sending, nobody knows except the supplier and the company. So here the relationship also improves because the element of trust is there between the two companies. Stronger relationship builds up. And as you know, in marketing, we always consider long-term relationships. We also consider long-term relationships in marketing. So here in EDI, basically, we are thinking about a stronger, robust, strong, long-term relationships between the companies and even with the customer also. Customer also we want to see that he gets a better deal. The cost should not increase. So EDI can also improve an organization's customer and trading partner relationship management, faster delivery of goods and services. Today I told you that Customer also wants uh, the delivery of the goods to be faster. Now, today, you see, with all these things, as I told you, that I'll just come to you again. Yes, now you have to understand that the customer what he wants today. Customer wants quality, customer wants faster service. Okay. So these are some of the things, and obviously the customer also wants, when you talk about the costing and everything, it should be reasonable also. Faster delivery of services, quality. He's talking about all these things. So if you can focus more on the customer rather than doing paperwork and handling internal matters, then in that case it becomes very cumbersome, because I have seen in most of the companies now they are changing their role, because in 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, if you go in the past, all paperwork transactions were more, resulting into inaccuracy, resulting into lesser confidentiality, because everybody comes to know what are the price that you are sharing with the suppliers, and what price you are also giving to the customers also. So in a way, the thing is that at that point of time, things are not that rosy as we think today. Because of this electronic age, we definitely have an advantage because of this EDI and internet. Better connectivity with the customers. Because customer wants something good, good relations. In marketing, we believe when we talk about e-business, we talk about marketing. And marketing means long-term relationship with the customer. We are not sellers. Don't forget that. Because selling is a part of marketing. Marketing has a deep scientific relationship and long-term relationship is there. We want to have long-term relationships in e-business with the supplier, with the customer, with even the government also, because they are also collecting taxes. Stakeholders. We want to have all these relations which are very on a sound footing, very good relations with the customer, supplier, and even with government and staff also, stakeholders. This is, we call that as a corporate governance. So corporate governance, in a way, it helps us to manage the company in a better way, in a very, very better way, in a highly efficient way. This is what the companies in Europe and other countries, they are doing it, even in Japan also. So corporate governance, better marketing techniques. Now, better marketing means have very strong connectivity with the customer. Already internet has provided you with an opportunity. So EDI basically it connects you still further, because the thing is that you get the right products whatever the time is there, because time is also, see, customer, one of the things that I told you just now is faster delivery of services. So that is also one of the things. So this documentation work is basically taken care of by EDI. Now EDI, as I told you, it has started from 1960, but of course it was not stabilized at that point of time. Now if you go little bit further, it in India also, I am telling you, of course it is stabilized now, but the thing is that the smaller companies are yet to adjust to the benefits of EDI. The paperwork, especially if you see, is reduced, because we don't want paperwork. Because paperwork means storage costs are there. Then sometimes it is, somebody sees the paper, and all this confidentiality is reduced. That we don't want. Company is not happy with this type of situations. Business should be done at a rapid speed. If you are working tomorrow, I know very well that you are working, you will be working in management sections. Obviously, the top management will be asking you for speed in work. So EDI is giving you an opportunity to be in touch with the suppliers, with other companies also, and even with the customer also, and even with the government also. So this is what is expected in today's world. I know if you go in the past, if you go in the history, things were not the same some 20, 30 years back. Because at that time, EDI was not stabilized. It is there today, especially in bigger companies. Smaller companies that we'll be discussing now, because they are yet to adapt. But bigger companies, definitely, they have taken the advantage. They are already on the forefront. I gave you the name of the companies. Even Infosys also, they are having this, or Tata Consultancy also. They must have, because documentation is the heart of the organization. Ultimately, all these documents had to go in such a speed and 24 by 7. The connectivity between the two companies, the supplier and the company also, the manufacturing company, it should work 24 by 7. So that is the reason this EDI, now it has got its own benefits. Obviously, the costing and everything that we'll be seeing now. Only if you know the user ID, you can transfer that particular document, which is very, very confidential from the management point of view. You cannot share this document with your juniors, because these are top confidential. Because when you do business, if you want to be competitive, everything cannot be transparent. I know transparency is vital, but some business secrets are also there which cannot be made in the public domain. That also we have to understand. So let us go a step further. If any questions are there, you can ask now. Yes, Oram, any questions? Silvara, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, let us go further. See, in Vivas, which will be starting very soon, some of the questions like this I may ask you. So please be prepared for the Vivas also. Don't take any tension. Slides I'll be uploading in the Teams. It has already been uploaded. Some more will be also there from EDI. I think some 4-5 slides are already there. You got online backup also. There also you can go over there. Okay. But only one thing is that please see that MCQs, they are there on next Tuesday, which I already sent you a mail. Please don't miss the MCQs. That's my request. Now, another thing, because the thing is that we cannot change, the software of Microsoft is very standard. So additions and all these things, subtractions cannot take place over there. So don't compare Microsoft with other softwares. So here it's very difficult, nearly impossible to change. So please give the MCQ test, all of you, because nobody should miss the marks. Those 5 marks are there. Whatever we are doing in class, that only will come. I know the MCQs will be very easy. And Vivas also you should face with courage, because there are more marks over there. I think there are nearly 12 marks for Vivas also. Anyway, I am going to the next slide. Just hold on for this thing. Yes. Now you can see, now we are going in a paperless and environment friendly environment. So here we don't want to have this paperwork, and everything is electronic. Reduces that is carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide emissions, promoting corporate social responsibilities. And then, as I told you about this number 5 is the transaction security is already there, because the transactions, as you know, it cannot be shared with everyone in the world. These are top secrets. which everybody has to see when you are working in a company. These communications protocols and security standards should be adhered to. Here it is very important that we should not even talk about the pricing and other aspects that who are sometimes I have seen in many of the companies, that I'll just share some things with you so that I think that will be good for you, because many of you, I know you are placed also. There is one thing which I wanted to share with you. When you are working in a company, okay, that is, don't be very, very transparent. It's very wrong to discuss the, actually customer matters or any matters with somebody who is from outside or even from inside the company. Because the thing is that, these are all things which you come to know when you are working in a company. Please don't try to disclose some important details about the customer or even the names also, names of the customers which your company is dealing with. It's better not to talk too much about this because these are all something related to management, the top secrets. So it is better to be keeping quiet. Why I am telling you all these things? Because I have seen many a times, not intentionally, but some employees in companies, they keep on discussing about the customer, even in the coffee shop. So this is unwarranted, not required. So customer basically is a customer. You should remember. We have got other matters to discuss. Why customer matters should be discussed in the coffee shop? I don't understand. Because it reduces confidentiality. If somebody comes to know that you are criticizing the customer or the management, that it is seen in a poor light. So here we have to just keep quiet because these are some things which I am giving you the inputs. It is obviously because many a times it does happen. We speak very casually with no intention also. But there is an effect which somebody may think otherwise. So it's better to be mum or just quiet in that respect. Because EDI, once if you are working in EDI department, you come to know lot of secrets of the company because these are all important documents. And there is no reason to discuss this in the coffee shop or anywhere. So like that it should be there because this is all confidential things. When you are sending important documents from one place to another, because the management has taken some decisions, then it is better to keep secret and this confidential for every person who is working in the organization. So EDI basically why we go, because management is spending so much money and time over it. It is obviously because business secrets are business secrets. Now, when we are working in an organization, we come to know about all these things, but it is better not to share this information unless there is some superior person who is asking for that information. Then only you have to share that. Otherwise, I don't think it is necessary. Because these are all very secret documents, especially the relation to invoices. Then some important documents can also be shared on the EDI. Very, very important documents are there. So that can also be shared. So when you are doing you are working in that EDI section, then we just have to manage the confidentiality. So here that is the reason I am trying to tell you the importance of the significance of being confidential and significance of even importance of EDI also. So let us go for the next slide. It is about paperless, I told you just now. High initial cost. Now, what are the limitations of EDI? Now, it is true that EDI has huge initial costs. Okay. The setup cost, they are very high. Now, the smaller businesses, they are unable to go for it. However, EDI has become less expensive over time. Now, if you go in the past, EDI was very, very expensive. Today, of course, it has little bit come down. EDI systems have also become more mature with features that automate and accelerate internal business processes that can quickly cover more than the investment with time and money saved. Now, here, as I told you, that limitation, these are all the limitations of EDI. The costing, the initial cost is very, very high. And there is one thing which I wanted to share with you. That is the reason these bigger companies, especially companies like TCS, Infosys, IBM's, they are already installed this EDI. But problem is with the smaller companies that they are unable to have EDI in their organization. It is only because of the high capital or initial cost. Where from the money is going to come from? They are already working hand to mouth. Even if you give them, I mean, from where the money, sometimes it is very heavy amount. So initial capital cost. See, ultimately, if you take money, you have to repay also. That is the principle. From where you are going to, where are the cash flows? So there we have to understand. If you don't have money, you cannot do it. That means a very simple thing, the big gets bigger. Companies like TCS, Infosys, L&T, Bharat Forge, Bajaj Auto. So once you reach that particular circle, then you can still grow bigger and bigger and bigger. That means they will be more competitive. In short, it is also quite possible. In other words, the smaller companies, they are facing problems because today or tomorrow they have to go for EDI. Otherwise, I am telling you, there has been cases, especially from European nations or Americans, they will not deal with that company who does not have the EDI software installed in their organizations. Because who is going to do this paperwork and everything? Those days are gone of paperwork. Who is going to deal with these companies who don't install EDI? It is not possible. Those companies, especially as I told you from America, I have seen that they will not even discuss about this company who is not in a position to have that EDI software with them, even though it is very, very costly. They will not deal with you. That's very simple. Then how will you grow big? You tell me. That means international contracts you will not be getting. So only the bigger companies, the big circle is getting bigger. The small circle is getting smaller. So we also see that there is uneven competition. So whether it is a small company or big company, they are not on the same platform because there is an element of money which the big companies have. Companies like TCS, companies like HCL, companies like Infosys, Wipro. These are the companies who have money with them. What about the smaller companies? It's a tough competition in the world. I know in my last batch, I remember the same subject I was teaching. And in the was there were some students, they were also said that, sir, in that event, the smaller companies, the micro companies, they will not withstand the competition. Obviously, There is the smaller companies cannot overtake the bigger companies because bigger companies have the power of money. They are having this EDI installed in the organizations, which is very, very vital for them in today's world. So smaller companies, since because of the lack of money, they cannot install all these things. Moreover, the skills are also absent because if you see the quality of workers in micro units, we cannot say that they are at par with the companies like TCS or Infosys or Wipro. The skills I'm talking. So there comes, equalness is not there. They are not on the same page. They are absolutely not on the same page. So here we have to understand one thing. There is uneven competition. In short, we have learned long time back that there is, we have learned in good school days, there is a Charles Darwin theory. Can somebody tell me what is the Charles Darwin theory which I discussed? Yes, Tanmay? What was the Charles Darwin theory? Tanmay?
Yes, sir.
What is the Charles Darwin theory which we learned in school?
So the evolution of human being.
Yeah, but what he said, Charles Darwin?
That I don't remember exactly. Yeah. Nirmit wrote it in the chat box. Survival to the fittest, of the
Yes,
fittest.
yes. Very good, very good. So this is how which he has told. Tanmay just now said that basically it is about the human evolution, the survival of the fittest. So here the same theory may have come today, which you will agree with me. A stronger company becomes more stronger. A weaker company gets more weaker. I know there is uneven competition. I don't know how the government is going to help them because it requires a lot of money and everything, the skills and everything. Competition is obviously there in the market. Charles Darwin theory, definitely, I will agree, it still holds. We cannot sidetrack the theory. We cannot throw the theory in the dustbin. If you are fit, you will survive. If you are not fit, you are not survive. A simple equation which has been told by Charles Darwin, still it holds today. So go for better technologies like EDI as I told you just now. If you don't have EDI, then definitely I am telling you there are practical reasons to tell you that companies from say Japan, Singapore, or even European countries, they prefer to deal with only those companies who have installed EDI in their company. They will not do business with those companies who don't have EDI. It is obvious who is going to do this paperwork, which has become more and more redundant. Nobody will do. So here we have to understand one thing that we have to go with times, we have to go with the system, we have to go with the world. So like this, the message is very clear. So of course, the big companies, they are already on the way. I am not talking about the bigger companies. I am talking about the smaller companies. I am talking about the medium-sized companies. Now, sometimes they are reluctant, even though they have the money. But where are the skills? Who will do this all these things? So there are gaps which I'll be showing you in other slides also. After 5 minutes, we can take a 2-3 minutes break, and again we'll continue. Don't worry, I'll just finish this slide. Now, this I told just now. It is about the high initial costs. Okay. So EDI systems has also become more mature with features. Now, of course, this I told you just now. I don't want to repeat. Now, initial setup is time consuming. Not only has EDI become less expensive, it has also become faster to deploy and integrate it to the existing applications and easier to use with web EDI options that even non-technical users can also operate. So initial setup is time consuming, not this is there. But now if you compare these things with the situation in 1980s or 90s, EDI has become less expensive, and it has also become faster to deploy and integrate it to the existing applications. So integration can also be done. Then another thing is too many standards. Many organizations concede that EDI has too many standards and versions. This could limit smaller businesses in trading with large organizations that use an updated version of document standard. So here we have to understand there are too many standards because world is undergoing change. Many of the companies in European countries or even US also, the standards they are changing. We will be going for standards after this because standards means something, the rules and regulations that you have to follow. So smaller companies, smaller business, we have to see that updated version of documents that only those formatting the documents can only be shared with the next companies. So standards they are changing. That's what I am trying to say. Then another thing we have is just hold on. This is yes. Now investing in system protection. So EDI may also require a huge investment in computer network. So it will need protection from viruses, hacking, malware, and other cyber security threats if an on-premise system is chosen. However, many providers offer a cloud solution which includes the system protection. Now, EDI basically, despite being a decades-old technology, EDI continues to be the dominant protocol in the B2B world. Today also I am telling you, in spite of the drawbacks, still I will say that EDI is here to stay. Don't say that the EDI is going, will not do it. Many of the companies, they think that way, but it is not possible. So here we have to see that the system also has to be protected because against hacking, viruses, malware, and other cyber security threats also. The system also, otherwise your data may be hacked also. So cyber, you have to take all these security measures in your organization so that you stay protected. You have to stay protected. So here the thing is that today, in spite of all these problems regarding this B2B, EDI, you see that today also nobody is saying that EDI is not necessary. Now everybody wants EDI. EDI hasn't changed much more the years, but the system that exchange EDI documents between business have mostly moved to the cloud, becoming cheaper, easier to use, and more friendly in nature. Friendly and that is rich, feature rich. So when considering EDI for the first time, it is important to weigh the advantages and disadvantages, but even more important is choosing the right provider that can help you get started and scale up your business as your business grows, while always committing to provide the most up-to-date features and security measures. Now, as I told you, this basically this EDI is it is already stabilized. It is already stabilized. Now, these are some of the advantages I told, and some of you may be working. I am sure about it because in this class we have got very good students. So they will be working in EDI department. In that case, you will be coming. I mean, it's not a very difficult thing, but the standards they keep on changing. What are the standards? Standards mean the rules, regulations, the international rules and regulations They keep on changing. Updations has to be there. Then only the process will be accepted. It should be simplified. It will be as per the international standards or rules and regulations. So only installing the system will not help. You have to see what are the new things that are required, what are undergoing in different parts of the world, and the same features should be implemented here also. Otherwise, only installation is not going to solve the problems. Updations and see what are the recent guidelines, regulations, and everything that also has to. That is the reason I told you the smaller companies they may find difficult at the initial stages to adapt to this system. Apart from the high cost, you need someone who is having very good technical knowledge, who has worked in EDI, and he knows how to handle not only about the hacking and everything, but you have to see what are the recent guidelines which are issued by international bodies so that we have to adapt. Otherwise, what will happen? Bigger companies from the world, they will not deal with you. The problem is this. Because everybody should come in the same platform. Everybody should come under the same platform. It is just like we are sending some messages by way of internet from here to any part of the world. Same thing is with because the internet has stabilized. EDI still some challenges we are facing, some obstacles are there, and I'm sure because the features are also changing in EDI, and in the days to come, I'm sure that it will be more user friendly. We'll take a just a 5 minutes break, and I think we'll continue with the standards once we come over there. Just 4 5 minutes break. Okay. Good morning now. We'll continue. Now, I'll be going to the standards now. Now, I told you the various benefits of EDI. Now, the benefits basically they're enormous if you talk about the cost and everything, because sometimes it does happen that initial costs are very high. But in the long run, if you see, the cost will be very, very less because the cost of employing the people who are working in accounts and all, purchase department, they will be reduced. So you can save on salaries, you can save on overheads, you can save on other costs. Even postages, you have to go to the post office, fix up the stamps, stand in the queue. So you can very well see the cost over there. Even though you are spending now, you are saving lot of money over there. If you employ one or two people who are very well versed in EDI, I think those two people or one person can do the job of nearly 10 people or 20 people who previously you had appointed in that invoice department or purchase department or accounts department. So many of the people in that particular department, they will be rendered just jobless over there. But we can't do anything. They can be replaced in some other sections because here EDI has its own benefits and drawbacks also. Drawbacks, as I told you, that many of the people will be rendered redundant. That means they are jobless. So there we can't do anything because they are not needed. The purpose of EDI is to see that the efficiency increases. So that we have to understand. So now I am going to the EDI standards where you can very well see what are the standards. You see, this EDI standards are the requirement for the format and content of EDI business documents. Now there are certain rules and regulations are there, and that is from the international bodies that this should be the formatting and everything that should be done. So EDI standards determine the correct order and locations of the unit of data in the EDI document. So how it has to be formatted, what information, because otherwise the EDI is not going to accept it. So all EDI transactions are defined by EDI standards. So here the thing, EDI standards, they are very, very important. What are the rules and regulations? And that has to be strictly followed because that another company may not accept if it is not as per the current standards, EDI standards or world standards. So there are several different standards for EDI message construction. So some of them have better penetration in certain sectors or regions of the world. Okay, so different standards for EDI message construction. Some of them have better penetrations in certain sectors or regions of the world. And although they may have their own particular features, they all respond to the same premises. So EDI standards began to emerge in the mid 1980s and were purposely designed to be entirely separate, non-dependent upon changes in the communication and software technologies. Okay, so 1980s, these are started now. Now, because EDI communication can be done via an extremely wide array of methods, standards for the individual methods are also being developed. So these are much more specific than EDI standards as a whole, as they pertain to the details and attribute of the chosen FDI. That means here we have to see that whatever the changes are there from 1980s, keep on adapting, keep it in your system, update over there, and see everything is okay, like that. So like that we have to see, because there has been a number of changes. Why they are there? Because we want to see that EDI becomes more user friendly, investor friendly, and moreover the communication should be faster, efficiency should, all these things we are trying to update in the whole EDI, this thing, rules and regulations. So EDI standards for internet transmissions. In addition, EDI standards, especially for internet-based transmissions, are being created as well. For email data, the EDI standard is known as RFC 3335 in 2002, which outlines various data security features that ultimately standardize email-based transaction. Then EDI message transactions are also there, are useful for electronically exchanging structured data between business. But now there is one thing which I wanted to share with you. It is about the data should be structured in that particular. You can send any data which is there till now, because it has to be structured in such a way that it has to comply with that particular standards. Otherwise, over there. Then we have various organizations such as United Nations, AMSI, etc. define the EDI message standards. So the most commonly used format is UN EDIFACT message. That is United Nations rules for EDI for administrations, commerce and transport. Now, related to this format, a number of various exist, usually defined by an industry, that is EANCM, COM. These dialects are referred to as with EDI, the information moves directly from a computer application in one organization to an application in another. So EDI standards which specify what information goes where in an EDI document or message eliminates the need to manually rekey information so that it can be accepted. So this automated capability enables information to be shared rapidly instead of this I told you just now or there. Then we have EDI standards provides editing rules and conventions, what exactly you have to publish public documentation, that is the standard manual is also there, definition of the data organization, rules of syntax. So this provides the standard user with an open system where trade is possible with anyone who uses the standard should be the same, otherwise it will not accept. Then we have reduced implementation effort. The implementation of a standard can itself be standardized. So as I told you that there are so many, because this it is not 100% stabilized as yet, because we have to see that it must be user friendly also. There are still skill gaps which are there. Now this is again I wanted to share with you. Wait a minute. Now I am again coming. Now I want to share. There are some more things also over there. Some practical things which everybody should understand and they should also know. Now, as you know that you are all technical people now, when you will be going over there, if you get an opportunity to work in this EDI department, then in that case, basically there are certain skill sets. That means certain skill sets there that are required. So they will train you in that particular department, and then because those skills are required, because those continuously there is something new things which are going on in EDI, because we want to make it smoother, user friendly, and moreover, as I told you, this hacking and everything about the cyber attacks and everything, this should be minimized, because nobody, the purpose of EDI is to see that the document reaches from X company to Y company or from Y company to Z company. In between, there should not be any mischief which can be played by any other person. So that has to be avoided, because things are going on now in other countries. So that has to be avoided. Moreover, what information you have to send and what are the type of formatting that can be only accepted by the system. You cannot send anything, whatever, say for example, letters and everything which you have in mind, it should be in that specified format. That is the reason I told you it requires certain skill sets. So the person who is working in that particular department, now today only the technical people they are working in that particular department. Maybe a day will come when a non-technical person may also deal with this CDI. Because as I told you, something updations are going on, some new things are coming in the system. You see the standards, they are improving, they are becoming more and more user friendly. It is obviously because the thing is that all the companies in the world, they should feel comfortable to work with each other, not to avoid each other. But on the contrary, the things should be simplified because we are going in a paperless world. So here the thing is that companies, whether big or small, they should not face difficulties in that. Otherwise, if there are gaps or problems or obstacles, then the business will not be that smooth. Again, we are going to that age-old system which we were doing in 1960s or 70s. We don't want to revert back because we are seeing the advantages of EDI. Advantages are much more than disadvantages. Disadvantages, as I told you, this hacking and everything that you have to prevent, malwares and everything. But the thing is that because there is a cyber security threats also which are likely to be there, because when you are sending documents, it should not go in wrong hands. If a third company comes to know your business secrets, you can well imagine what will happen. You can well imagine what is going to happen in that regard if that company comes to know. So here we have to be very, very careful because we are installing the system. We are putting a lot of money, the capital investments we call. So here everything should be done systematically. The person who is appointed over there, at least today I have seen that they are all technical people like you. With a little bit of training, you can get the right knowledge. I know that. And I also know, because in my last batch also, there are some students who said, "Let's sir, we are very much interested in working with EDI, because that's a very important department." I'm telling you, it's a very important department. Because only the technical persons are doing the job. Maybe after days to come, I don't know, days to come, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the lines, a non-technical person can also operate. Let's hope so, because as I told you, the purpose is user friendly. So the thing is that user friendly, if it is there, let it be there. If the standards they improve, the benefits also, the thing is that everybody is working in the same direction. Capital cost should also come down. As I told you that the smaller companies, they don't have money, they don't have skill sets, then how they are going to survive in the market? Have you thought about them? Micro units, where India's 80% of the people they are employed in those industries, how will they survive? You tell me. So these problems are definitely there, and they are here to stay. Because as I told you, this continuous updations they are going on, standards they are improving, and things are going for better, not worse. So world bodies basically they want. If for example, I'll give some practical example. A smaller company is there. I have seen because I have visited that company. That smaller company says, no, 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 I don't need EDI. You know what was the reaction of a bigger company? Bigger company says, if you don't have EDI in your organization, then we will not do work with you. will not do business with you. So you have lost the client. Today or tomorrow, you should not forget that it is a necessity. It is not a luxury. Some of the companies, they say, sir, we think it is a luxury because we have to spend so much money. And apart not only the money part, but the skilling part is also there. You have to see that the people who are rightly skilled in that particular area. Otherwise, a person who is a non-technical person, he cannot work, I am telling you. A non-technical as on today. Maybe as I told you, days will come when he will work. So in short, the message is very clear. The smaller companies also have to adjust themselves. Because I'll tell you one thing. I have seen in some of the units, in Pune also and in other parts also, that they are coming together in a cluster. Say, for example, say 4 to 5 companies, they come together. Then they will commonly spend money. If they are not individually, it is not possible. Then just like a syndicate, they will come together, they will spend money, and they will get the necessary staff. We call that as outsourcing. Outsourcing can also be done if you don't have the right skills, if you don't have the money also, then obviously you can go for outsourcing. But the thing is that outsourcing has its own advantages and disadvantages. Can somebody tell me what is the main disadvantage of outsourcing? Yes, anyone? Yes, Devraj. Can you tell me what is the main disadvantage of outsourcing? Yes, Devraj. Ritik, what is the main disadvantage of outsourcing? Yes, Janvi, come on now. Starting why was very shortly now. Yes, Janvi, what is the main disadvantage of outsourcing? Come on, come on. Yes,
Are you asking only one person or everybody can answer?
Yeah. Why not? Then you can go ahead.
I think when you outsource anything, you don't have any control over it, direct control. And when you don't have direct control in your profit, you can't do things in such a way that your profit might increase.
Yes, I agree with Dale. That is, you don't have. He said, I'll just break down to you what he said. He said that basically you don't have any control. Now, apart from this, do you have any other answer? Yes, Nishkam, to what Dale said. Yes, Nishkam. Yes, somebody is trying to say something. Yes, who is it?
So, Shruti this side. So, maybe non-fulfillment of time-bound deliveries, if we
No.
consider time a factor.
Yeah, no. Shruti, they will do it timely. But what is the main thing which comes in your mind when you are outsourcing?
So your data will not be secure, as in you'll have to send your data.
Yes. Wilfred, I am happy that you have given the answer. This is the right answer. As Wilfred said, that your data is basically because unsecured, anybody will come to know what you are sending. Because since you are outsourcing, where is the control? As Dell said, Dell also said the same thing. Where is the control?
So yeah, depends on what are you talking about outsourcing. What, like supposing you're talking about outsourcing and designing a product.
Correct.
Then if you're talking about designing a product, then you won't have enough control on how that other company is going to be designing the product, what materials they're going to be using, and etc.
Yeah. But Dale, I was using the word when we are talking about EDI, we are sending documents, very important documents, which is related, which is the heart of the company. So the thing is that especially about the invoices, which Tanmay also said long time back, the invoices which you are sending, if you are outsourcing all these important things, then don't you think that it can be leaked to your competitors? Yes, anybody? Don't you think that the important secrets of your companies, like invoices, the money and everything, which are the name of the competitors, the name of your suppliers, it can be leaked very easily? Yes, Shruti?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it can. But you can also have an agreement with the person who you're outsourcing. Like,
No, no,
yep.
no. Well, agreement you can have. There is no point. But still, I am telling you, do you think that things will go so smoothly in spite of the agreement? There is bound to be some accidents here and there, I am telling you. Because once you outsource, there is obviously an element of risk which comes in your mind. And companies, they are not comfortable. Because there are things happening in this direction. Once you give the documents, outsource the documents, as you only said that controls, they get diluted. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Because here the thing is that once your document is in somebody else's hand, even though you have an agreement, don't think that things are that secure. In-house it can be secure. Outsourcing, it is doubtful. Then, so here we have to understand, and Wilfred rightly said, he gave the correct answer. He said, your confidentiality. Where is the confidentiality now? You tell me. Your competitors will come to know by this way or that way. I agree with Wilfred, what he said. Because the main thing when you are sending documents is not only the speed, but you have to protect your data. Your data has to be protected. Nobody should come to know. These are all business secrets. So outsourcing, as I told you, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. Definitely. You can speed up the matter, but not at the cost of safety. So your safety of the organization, safety of the customer's data, all these things, don't dilute it. Shruti, did you get it? Yes, Shruti, Satvik.
Yes, sir. I got it.
So here we have to see, that is the reason today I am telling you, in India I have seen in MIDC units, basically small scale industrial units, these are some of the things that are happening. There is an element of trust that outsourcing person is not going to reveal the secrets. But can you believe an outside person? So there is a question mark. I leave it to you only. I don't want to comment on that particular aspect. You only decide whether it is safe from your company's point of view and whether your management will be happy with this. Because this is again a question, it is a subjective question. That sometimes your management may not be happy with the documents we sharing with some other third person. Very crucial, important documents. So that is again, questionable. So I don't want to comment because there is a yes and no also. You can have agreements, no doubt we have agreements, but still, as I told you, this process is still evolving. It has not yet 100% stabilized. I told you in the start only. 100% stabilization is not there. It is the reason is this, that there are a lot of standards which are coming. You see, so many years are gone. Standards are still emerging, but there are companies who know the benefits. And you tell me another thing, that even though, see, can you escape from this? You tell me first of all. Can you escape from this? Yes, anyone? Yes, Nirmit. Can you say that I want to avoid this EDI? Yes, Nirmit. Can you escape installing EDI in the organization? Some.
No, sir.
Yes, you cannot do it. What is the option? You tell me. If you don't want to spend, if you don't want to spend on money and this skilling persons and everything, I don't think that what is the other option you have. That is the reason we are studying this ADI, and moreover, sometimes, I have seen in some smaller companies, some outside person who is a skilled person, he's called and he's doing that job, and all this is a risky affair. I'm telling you, this is on the basis of trust only. So I know it is a little risky, but I leave it to you to understand the problems. I leave it to you only, because the thing is that you have to understand whether it is, you know, risky or not risky. Now I am going to the next slide. Just hold on for this thing. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. So reduced implementation efforts. Now the implementation of a standards can itself be standardized. So as I told you, there are a number of things which have come. We are trying to implement this in the system. Then third party in interfaces, software and network applications can be written that can address specific business needs and conform to a single standard. Ultimately, we want a single standard. We don't want multiple standards. That means there can be one rule. There cannot be multiple rules. So software and network applications can be written that address specific business needs and conform to a single standard. We want only a single standard over there, because standards cannot be multiple standards. It has to change. A new standard may come. So need for EDI standards. EDI documents are intended to be sent, received, and interpreted by computers. Now, these documents, they are sent, they are received, and they are interpreted also. So for the interpretation to be successful, the data must be in such a format that both the computers can understand. Here we have to understand one thing. The data must be understandable. Data must be understandable by both the computers. So use of standards minimizes the difficulties and expenses that would result if each trading partner was to impose its own format on every partner with which it does business. Now, it is also, as I told you, the data should be understood by the computer. This is number one. But number two is it is use of the data minimizes the difficulties and expenses that would result if each trading partner were to impose its own formats. You cannot have your own format. The format should be designed by international accepted standards by the world bodies, which everybody should follow. Then only this system is going to stabilize and acceptable. Because don't forget that only we are thinking about the bigger companies, but there are smaller companies also. So they will be also coming. It's a question of time. It may be today or tomorrow or after some time. But we cannot leave them, the smaller companies, the micro units, the startups, SMEs, MSMEs. We cannot say that these companies are also doing a very good job in the market. So they also should be accommodated. It is the view of EDI. Obviously, till now it has not been resolved because it is still very, expensive. So it may take its own time. I think, for 2 years, 5 years more also. Then again, as I told you, this skilling and everything part, these are all technical people who understand the language of the computers, the language of EDI. So they will be only understanding, and then comes the non-technical people, they will come. So as you know, when actually even computers they came, long back I'm talking about 1980s or 1985s, only technical people they understood the language of big computers. Today, even a non-technical person also he is using computers. So like this, we have to understand. The EDI standards also can be accepted. I mean, they can basically, you have to put it in the system and everything. That's another thing. But the ultimate aim is to see a non-technical person also should be able to handle these things. Obviously, till today, it is not materialized. But we hope so in the days to come, like computer. Now, even a non-technical person, he is also comfortable to work with computers like that. This EDI standards which are there, it can also be used by non-technical people also. But today, the requirement is of technical people like you, as I told, that you are the person who should run the show. So the thing is that no company, whether big or small, they can dictate to the other company, yes, our format is this and you have to go as per this format. No, the standards has to be there and you have to go as per the standards. And this has to be decided. And then we have how to read an EDI message. An EDI message is a computer file containing structured, again I am using the word structured. Usually it will contain characters which separate one piece of data from the next, but never an explanation of what the data represents. So the standards explains fully what the data may be transmitted in each document and how the data is to be laid out in the file. If the standards are obeyed, then all partners using the same standards can read the data. So here basically you have to understand one thing, that basically standards are there which you have to accept. No company can dominate other company because it has been seen. I am telling you this is some practical problems, not the theoretical problems. Bigger companies, they have the habit. They will say, no, no, you have to go as per this standard, even if you like it or not. This is not the way to do business. The standards should be accepted by all, not only, otherwise there will be monopoly. Otherwise there will be monopoly. That means only the big companies, they will run the show. It should not happen that way. So that is the reason international bodies, they have some standards. This is because that formatting has to be done in a particular way. If it is done in a particular way, then anybody will accept it. Why is only big companies, even the small companies also, they will say, we want in this particular, otherwise it will not be readable. I am telling you. If you don't put the data and everything in that particular format, it will not be readable. I am telling you. So it is of no use then in that case. So formats has to be designed as per the standards. We have to put the right data and everything. Then only it is accepted by the other company over there. So all this exercise, as I told you, it requires skills. You are all skilled people, skilled students in these organizations. I'm sure, because in my last class also, many of the students, they said, sir, we want to work in EDI section. I can very well see that there are very good students in this class. I'm sure if given an opportunity, and it doesn't take much time also, if you have the right capability, you can do it. I'm sure about it. What is difficult? Only updations you have to keep on making as whatever they say. That can be done. So here we have to, this is the evolving situation where we are still not reached the stabilization level of 100%. In computers, as I told you just now only, that previously, if you go in 1980s or 90s, only the technical people, they used to run the computers, the bigger computers, mega computers you can call. But today, anybody is using the computer. Even a non-technical person is also using the computer. Even a small child is also using the computer. So this is what we want. In EDI also, we want to see that a non-technical person also can run the show, because sometimes it does happen that the thing, this is the ultimate aim. Why make it so skilled and technical? See, that is the aim of this. Obviously, the goals has not been achieved till now, and we hope so that it may be in the days to come. And how many days, nobody knows. That question is a $1,000,000 question if you ask me. Nobody can tell. Nobody can tell how many years it will take for 100% stabilization and 100% user friendly. And all these questions, your questions will remain unanswered because today also the system is having continuous, there is some new standards are coming. It's an evolving process. So as I told you, 100% stabilization, it is not there. But more or less, companies, they are sending documents in the right format. And I'm sure, like computer, it came and now it is user friendly. EDI will also be user friendly in days to come. Now, I hope this with this you have understood what is the benefits and what are the standards. I gave you some practical examples also because I myself have visited some companies and I have seen that smaller companies, they are finding it very difficult. It is obviously due to the lack of skills, lack of awareness. These people, they are not able to make a mark. And what is the net result? Net result is affecting profit and loss account. They lose the business because the companies who are having EDI in their systems, they will not work with you. So it is just like a race which we have to accept whether we like it or not. Whether we like it or not, we have to be in the race. So that is the reason everybody is thinking that how, and they are trying to find out solutions. I told you that basically even smaller companies in micro units, they are coming together as a syndicate and maybe outsourcing temporarily, they will go for outsourcing. And at the end, after some time, if they get the necessary skills and technical know-how and the capital, then definitely they will have in-house also. Why go out, outsourcing? Outsourcing is not a permanent step over there because there are a number of companies. I have seen some 10, 15 companies, they are going for outsourcing only because they don't have the right type of technology. They don't have the right type of, the money also is not there. Right skilling is also not there. So there are so many gaps. So why not come together and work in a group? Like we have self-help groups, like that. So outsourcing also, it solves the problem, but I think it is ultimately, you have to think whether it is a long-term solution or a short-term solution. You only can think and you decide whether this outsourcing is a permanent phenomena or a short-term phenomena. That you have to see. Obviously, if you want, I think who can give the answer? Yes, Prabhat, can you give the answer? Is outsourcing a permanent or a short-term phenomena? Yes, Prabhat Tiwari. Come on, very few minutes are there. Yes, Smith. Yes, Palajit. Do you think that this outsourcing will last for long? Whether it is a permanent long-term solution? Yes, Palajit. Yes, Nishmita. Yes, Nishmita. Anyone can answer the question. What is your view? In why was this type of questions may come? Yes, Rahul Goel.
So can you repeat?
My question is very simple, Akash. I said whether outsourcing of EDI is a long-term or a short-term solution. Yes, Akash.
Sir,
Sir,
it will be a
short-term.
short-term process, uh, because as as a company starts sending data, and he or she will also know that he or she also knows that there are risks at it, so it will also try to develop its own team to cope up with that.
Correct. So you mean to say, Akash, in the long run, this is not acceptable? Suppose you are
Yeah.
a company executive then?
Yes, because there are always chances of security and privacy.
Okay. Yes, Shruti, you were trying to say something. Can you repeat what?
Actually, I don't agree much. Is it okay to not agree?
You agree or you don't agree?
Is it okay not to disagree? Like,
Yeah, yeah, that is also there. Yes,
I mean,
Shruti. Yes.
because the reason why you can disagree to that is because if you make if you have an agreement with a outsourcing company, they mostly the bigger the agreement is with a trustworthy company, they'll always try to uh, you know um, uh, uh, try to keep your secrets without getting leaked out. And if you have this agreement on a like yearly basis, like a renewal basis, then since they will try to keep your secrets still confidential. And secondly is if you do it with if this is actually a long term process, then they might become better in whatever work they you are giving them. They might become more efficient. So that's why long term it's always good. Long term also there are benefits if you're going for outsourcing.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I told you, know, because the thing is that outsourcing because of smaller company, usually this is happening in case of smaller companies because bigger companies they have in-house. I gave you some of the company's name also. But anyway, this we have got just 2 minutes. I'm taking the attendance. Just hold on for a minute.
Pardon my interruption, sir. I just have one thing to say before we are
Yeah,
done.
yeah, why not? Go ahead.
I have a request, sir, that if you can like schedule your classes a day before you take them. It's just that like some of us like look at the timetable and sometimes the classes are not there the next and they're updated the very day they're supposed to happen. So we tend to miss out on them. It would be better if you just like update the class a day before, so that we just like check up a schedule and attend your lectures.
Yeah, Kshitij, basically, Kshitij, just 1 minute. The thing is that, see, whatever you said, the thing, but I will only tell because the scheduling and all this thing, it is done by college only. And this schedule, it comes from there only. Because the thing is that we as teachers, we don't have any role to play in this regard. Because whatever the schedules, because we are not knowing the schedule after say 10 o'clock. What is the schedule you have after 10 o'clock?
I understand, sir. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that when you update the class on Teams, on in the Teams calendar,
Yeah, yeah.
can you just update it a day before? The schedule will remain the same. I just want that the updatation of the timings for that class should happen a day before so that there is no confusion.
No,
Because
no,
some of
that
us,
really,
what we
yeah,
do
yeah,
is that we
yeah, go ahead.
some of us what we do is that we look at the calendar, and sometimes the timings for your class or the class in general is not there, is not scheduled there in the calendar itself. So what happens is that some of us tend to miss your lectures, and like it kind of affects our attendance as well as our knowledge in a way.
Okay,
So
okay.
Simple request
Uh,
is that whenever you're about to take a class, just update it a day before.
No, that is correct. That you don't worry. See what is my this thing, because not only for this class, because we got other classes also. I usually I make it on Sunday because you have on Tuesday. This is only a question of one day in advance, because usually your request is I should do it on Monday and I am doing it on Sunday. Correct, Yatej?
Yes, sir.
Hello. So I am doing it on Sunday because there are other classes also which I had to schedule at the same time, not only this. So I am doing that all these things on Sunday itself where time is there. So that is the reason I am doing, because you are having on Tuesday. So just one day I am doing it in advance. Uh, so that is the only thing. If you want it that way, that can be adjusted. That's not a very big problem. Don't worry.
Understood, sir. That would be a really
Yeah,
big
yeah,
help.
I
I really
that
appreciate
don't
that.
worry. Don't worry. It's a minor problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry. Any other
Thank you,
question?
sir.
Thank you. Don't
Uh,
worry, Kshitij. And happy Holi to all of you. I hope you have stayed in house yesterday during Holi time. I know that you might not have gone out now because of Corona and everything. Nobody has gone out. But anyway, happy Holi to all of you. Okay. And I had taken the attendance, and I am recording is also stopped.